Part 15. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 141. At almost 10 o'clock the next morning, Xiao Wu came riding a broken bicycle. Zhang Chen saw that it was not Lu Ligan's bicycle and knew that they had already been to the second-hand bicycle market under the Renmin Bridge in the morning. "Where's the pole?" Zhang Chen asked Xiao Wu. He was called away by a client. Xiao Wu stood there, looking eager to try. He said, "Brother Chen, you can tell me what I will do today." Zhang Chen asked Xiao Wu to sit down. He said there was no rush. "I would take you to a few markets later. We would eat out at noon. Sit down and let me ask you something first." Xiao Wu sat down opposite Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen looked at him and asked, "Xiao Wu, is there anything else you haven't told us?" Xiao Wu looked embarrassed and fell silent. He looked back behind him. "It's just the two of us here now, Xiao Wu, you can say anything to me." Xiao Wu smiled awkwardly and said, "Brother Chen, I don't know what to say." "Is the regiment going to expel us?" Zhang Chen asked. "I heard Lao Gui talk about this, but it's not about this," Xiao Wu said hesitantly. "Then what else?" Xiao Wu looked behind him again and said, "I felt very sad when I saw Brother Zanzi. He also asked me about Sister Shahen." "What's wrong with Tan Shahen?" Xiao Wu gathered up his courage and said, "Sister Shahen is engaged." "Ah," Zhang Chen was shocked and said anxiously, "What did you say?" "Sister Shahen is engaged, Brother Chen, I don't even dare to tell Brother Ganzi," Xiao Wu muttered. "Real? Of course it's true, we all went to have the engagement drink. Who is she engaged to?" Xiao Wu glanced at him and whispered, "Uncle Lao Gui, Feng Lao Gui." Zhang Chen cursed, "This is too damn exaggerated." "Yes, after you left, Lao Gui has been pestering Sister Shahen every day, and her parents are forcing her. She probably can't help it. We are very angry when we look at it, but it's all our own. What can you do in the regiment? I don't know where you are at that time." "When will they get married?" Zhang Chen asked. "You mean setting up the wine?" Xiao Wu asked Zhang Chen. "It should be soon. Maybe they have already set it up in the few days since I came out. Anyway, the registration has been registered and the wedding room is ready." When Lao Gui agreed to be the deputy leader, he asked Director Ding to help him arrange a wedding room. Director Ding made 2 rooms for them in the original dormitory of the U Opera Troupe, and they have already moved there. Only then did Zhang Chen understand what Xiao Wu meant when he said yesterday that Tan Shahen and Feng Lao Gui were not hanging out in Jiaohang. The raw rice had already been cooked, and the idiot Lu Ligan was still waiting with wishful thinking. Zhang Chen made a call to Jin Lily. Jin Lily had just returned to the company not long ago and had not gone to Sanya yet. When Jin Lily heard this, she became anxious. She said, "I won't talk to you anymore. I'll call Tan Shahen's home first and ask. What happened to her?" Jin Lily hung up Zhang Chen's call, and Mr. Xia walked over and tapped his watch with his finger. Jin Lily said, "Give me 10 minutes and I will make a call." Jin Lily called Tan Shahen's home phone, and it was Tan Shahen's mother who answered the phone. Jin Lily didn't hesitate and said directly, "Let Tan Shahen answer the phone." "Zhen Zhen is not here," Tan's mother said angrily. "Is Zhen Zhen engaged?" No, has it been registered?" "Yes, what's the matter? What's wrong? How could you do this?" "Jin Lily, what have we done?" "My Zhen Zhen, have you sold it to someone? It's none of your business to get engaged or get married, so please don't call us again." After Tan's mother finished speaking, she hung up the phone. Jin Lily was so angry that she felt helpless. She sat and sulked for a while, then called Zhang Chen and told him about the phone call. Zhang Chen was anxious and said, "I don't even know how to tell the Pole." "You can say whatever you want. If you don't say anything, this idiot will keep waiting day after day." "What the hell, Will he wait until his child goes to elementary school? Jin Lily scolded. Zhang Chen sighed and said, I don't know what will happen if I tell him. This idiot knows that the first thing he must do is buy a plane ticket back to Yongcheng. Zhang Chen, let me tell you, even if you break his legs, you won't let him go. Do you understand? Don't go and embarrass yourself. Okay, I get it. I'm leaving first. Mr. Xia is waiting for me. By the way, if anything happens, just call Mr. Xia directly. We are all together. Zhang Chen said yes. Zhang Chen hung up the phone and sat there thinking for a while. He thought that Jin Lily was right. Lu Ligan would definitely run back to Yongcheng if he knew about it. Everyone has already registered. If you run back, there is no other way than to pick it up yourself. What's the point of being humiliated? Will someone go to the Civil Affairs Department for divorce again because of you? Even if Tan Shahan is willing, her parents will not agree. This matter can only be let go. Not in Yongcheng, out of sight and out of mind, it is better. Zhang Chen looked at Xiao Wu and thought to himself, fortunately Xiao Wu is here now, living with Lu Lizang, so he can keep an eye on him. Otherwise, he would really not be able to control him by himself. This guy might not be able to control him at any time. Just slipped away. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu said that we would go to the market later and talk to the Pole in the evening. As for me, Lily was right. It wouldn't work if she didn't tell him. This idiot is still waiting for Tan Shahan to come every day. After telling her, you keep an eye on him and don't let him run back to Yongcheng, otherwise someone will die. Okay, I understand. If it doesn't work, I'll tie him up, Xiao Wu said. Zhang Chen said yes, just tie him up, as long as he is not allowed to leave Haikan. Zhang Chen rode a motorcycle and took Xiao Wu to several building materials markets, introduced their suppliers to Xiao Wu, and told them that this is my little brother, and from now on, the procurement for our projects will be under his control. If you have any problem, detain him. Zhang Chen gave the digital BB machine he used to Xiao Wu, and Xiao Wu officially took over. Except for arranging for Gu Shufang and Lin Zhao, Mr. Fu basically doesn't care about the other aspects of employment on the construction site. Zhang Chen will allocate them according to needs. Therefore, when hiring Xiao Wu, he doesn't need to say hello to other people. He just needs to go back at night. Handed a copy of Xiao Wu's ID card to Gu Shufang, and told her that this person can go to work on his first day today. At noon, they had Hainan Essa chicken rice at Boss Lin's place. Zhang Chen told Boss Lin that you can't bribe my younger brother when he comes. Boss Lin smiled and said, I understand, I'm used to it. After eating, they rested on Boss Lin's sofa for a while, and then continued walking. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu said that when you do procurement, you must not only do procurement, but also do intelligence work. Are there any spies here? Xiao Wu was puzzled. Zhang Chen smiled and said, I'm not a spy. I want you to find out what new materials and technologies are on the market. Then collect the information and samples in time and give them to me. Why do you think people decorate? Isn't it just to follow the fashion? So there are new when materials are suitable for our projects, we will use them immediately. In the building materials industry, many new materials appear every year. Xiao Wu understood, he said yes, I understand. When the two of them returned to Wanghai Tower, it was already past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Zhang Chen took Xiao Wu around the construction site again to let him understand where the materials he saw today were used. How is it constructed? After returning to the office, it was almost 6 o'clock. The two of them sat for a while, and then Lu Ligan came. When Xiao Wu saw Lu Ligan coming, he quickly stood up and gave Lu Li the seat opposite Zhang Chen. Pole sit. Lu Ligan asked Xiao Wu, how was your day today? Xiao Wu told him that the weather in Hainan is too hot, but Hainan chicken rice is delicious. Lu Ligan laughed loudly, and Jiang Chen cursed in his heart, "If you laugh at your mother, I will make you cry immediately." He was cruel and said to Lu Lizan, "Zhangzi, I have something to tell you." Lu Ligan smiled and said, "Damn it, you don't tell me something every day." He looked at the light bulb above his head and saw that it had been replaced. He smiled and said, "Damn it, are you going to say that I owe you a light bulb again?" Jiang Chen shook his head, "I have plenty of light bulbs on the construction site. I have something important to tell you." Jiang Chen looked outside the door and said to Xiao Wu, "Xiao Wu, go and close the door." Xiao Wu walked over and closed the door. He stood and leaned behind the door, looking here. Lu Ligan looked at Jiang Chen and then at Xiao Wu. When he saw that both of them looked serious, Lu Ligan cursed, "You two are not trying to fool me together, are you? That's more important. What the hell are we going to do that's important?" The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 142. Jiang Chen kept staring at Lu Ligan. When he finished speaking, Jiang Chen said, "Tan Shahen is married." Lu Ligan was shocked. He grinned and wanted to smile, but the smile quickly disappeared from his face. Jiang Chen continued, "Tan Shahen and Feng Logui have already registered." "Real?" Lu Ligan looked at Jiang Chen and asked. Jiang Chen nodded. He turned to look at Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu turned his face away, not daring to look at him. Although Lu Ligan sent his first postcard to Tan Shahen in Haiyan last year, and then went to the newspaper office and finally settled down, he wrote his first letter to Tan Shahen, but he never received a reply from Tan Shahen. Jean felt a little uneasy, feeling that something was wrong, but he convinced himself every time. It's okay, Tan Shahen is still the same Tan Shahen, she won't change." She doesn't reply, naturally she has her reasons, Tan Shahen has her own way of doing anything, you don't know it now. But at this moment, when Lu Ligan heard these words coming out of Jiang Chen's mouth, he still didn't want to believe it and wanted to reject it, but there was a voice in his heart that said, "It's finally here." Lu Ligan felt that his heart was freezing. He knew that Jiang Chen would joke with him about everything, but he would not joke about his relationship with Tan Shahen, just like he often joked about Jiang Chen and Jin Lily, but when it came to the relationship between the two of them, he showed it, just worries and reminders. If you don't believe it, you can ask Lily. She has already called Tan Shahen's home, and her mother has confirmed that you called Mr. Xia's eldest brother and they are together. Lu Ligan patted his hands lightly on the table. He looked at Jiang Chen and smiled miserably, "No, I believe it." Lu Ligan stood up and walked toward the door. Xiao Wu stood there, leaning against the door. Lu Ligan said, "Xiao Wu, let me out." Xiao Wu didn't move. "Pole, where are you going?" Jiang Chen asked. "I'll go to the airport to see if there are any tickets to Guangzhou now." "What do you want to do?" "Go back to Yongcheng." "Yes, Tan Shahen and that sissy got married. I will go back to congratulate them and give them a big gift." "Is this interesting?" "Of course it's interesting. It's so interesting to watch your girlfriend get married to your best friend." "Come back and sit down," Jiang Chen said. "I'll go to the airport to see and then come back." "Don't go, there's no need." Xiao Wu stood there and Lu Ligan looked at him. He turned away and never looked at Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan said again, "Xiao Wu, let me pass." Xiao Wu shook his head and said, "Brother Chen is right, Brother Zanzi, don't go back." Lu Ligan reached out to pluck Xiao Wu, but nothing happened. Lu Ligan wanted to pluck again, but Xiao Wu said, "Brother Zhuangzi, if you don't listen, I will do it." Lu Ligan smiled and said, "Then go ahead and do it." "What do you want?" "Hit me?" "Okay, I just deserve a beating now." Xiao Wu's face turned red, and he said to Lu Ligan, "I'm sorry, Brother Ganzi, I can't speak, but Brother Chen is right, you don't want to go back." Lu Ligan sighed and said, "Okay, Xiao Wu, let me ask you, what would you do if you were me?" Xiao Wu shook his head, "I don't know, I'm not you." "I mean, what would you do if your girlfriend married your best friend?" "I don't have a girlfriend." "I mean, for example, there is." "I would chop their heads off and kick them like balls." "Xiao Wu," Zhang Chen shouted sharply. Xiao Wu looked at Zhang Chen and muttered, "Brother Chen, if it were me, I would really do this." "Okay, then you still won't let me go," Lu Ligan said. Xiao Wu shook his head and said, "You are not such a person, Brother Ganzi. You don't have the murderous intention. You know a lot of truths. If you go, you can't kill people. You will eventually convince yourself with reason. Brother Chen's sister Lily is right, if you go, there will be no other consequences besides embarrassment." "Ha, ha ha," Lu Ligan laughed. "Zhang Chen, did you hear that? This guy is humming teaching me a lesson." "He is right," Zhang Chen said, "there are only two results to solve this kind of matter, either kill someone or endure it. There are many beautiful girls in this world. Let's find another one who is more beautiful than Tan Shahen. Pretty, piss them off." "Why don't you find another one?" Lu Ligan asked. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment, and then fell silent. "Brother Ganzi, what you said is too much," Xiao Wu scolded. Lu Ligan knew that it was impossible for him to go out today. He sighed, walked back, and sat down opposite Zhang Chen. After a while, he said to Zhang Chen, "Zhang Chen, I'm sorry." Zhang Chen shook his head, "It doesn't matter. I understand how you feel now. If it were me, I couldn't stand it and would also want to go back and find Tan Shahen to find out. But, what's the use? You can't change anything now." Lu Ligan's eyes were red and he said, "Zhang Chen, I just can't stand it. Last year, we were fine. We agreed to come to Hainan together. If Tan Shahen comes too. I know, Pole, this is fate. If Tan Shahen had left with us that morning, it would be easy to leave. When we get here, I believe you will be fine." Bang bang bang, someone knocked on the door. Xiao Wu looked at Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen didn't know who would be there at this time. "Instructor, I am a fool. Open the door." "I know you are inside," the fool shouted from outside the door. Zhang Chen told Xiao Wu that Xiao Wu opened the door because he was our friend. Zhang Chen thought to himself, if the second-rate guy comes here at this time, everyone can talk and laugh, and maybe it can lighten the atmosphere a little bit. Xiao Wu opened the door. When the idiot saw Xiao Wu, he was stunned for a moment and asked, "Who are you?" Zhang Chen quickly said, "This is our former colleague from the theater troupe." After hearing this, the second-rate guy quickly shook hands with Xiao Wu, and then walked over. He looked at Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan wanted to turn his face away, but the second-rate guy still saw it. He was very surprised and shouted, Hey, big reporter, what's wrong with you? Why are you crying like a bitch? Tell me who bullied you." Lu Ligan scolded, "You have never seen anyone lose their love. I was kicked by someone." The idiot laughed loudly, "Well kicked, you are forced to raise me. After kicking you, you will be free. There is nothing to be sad about. There are plenty of women. Let's go, let's go. Come with me later. I, the idiot, can specialize in treating people like you sick." The second-hand guy put an envelope in front of Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen took it over and looked at it. There was a wad of money inside. Zhang Chen looked at the second-hand guy in confusion. "What is this for?" "The project on Hadian Island has been completed. Lao Tan said that you were responsible for most of the project. This is what you deserve," Erhuo said. Zhang Chen pushed the envelope back and said to Erhuo, "I have been away from the company for such a long time, so I can't ask for this money. Hey, you raised by force, don't give it for free. Lao Tan gives it to you, Just keep it. I'll take it back. You raised by force will be scolded by him, said the second-hand guy. Lou Ligon stood up, snatched the envelope away, and shouted, "Yes, the chief is right, don't give it up, let's go eat coconut chicken hot pot and see the scenery." The four people walked out and arrived at the coconut chicken hot pot restaurant. The place was crowded and they had to queue up to get a number. Xiao Wu stood there, looking around. He asked Lou Ligon, "Brother Ganzi, what scenery is there to see here?" "There is no shit." The other three laughed loudly. The idiot patted Xiao Wu on the shoulder and said to him, "Brother, the scenery here is the people. Take a look at these women and see which one you like. Brother will negotiate the price for you, arrange a time." Xiao Wu understood and his face turned red. The idiot reached out to touch Xiao Wu's face and shouted, "Haha, it looks like a chicken at first glance, then they will give you a red envelope." Xiao Wu grabbed Erguo's hand, and Erguo screamed out in pain. Xiao Wu quickly let go, and Erguo cursed, "You're forced, I didn't expect my hands to be so strong." Lou Ligon said, "Xiao Wu has more than just strong hands. Chief, next time someone comes to trouble you, your name is Xiao Wu. You can fight 3 with 1. "Really?" The second-rate guy clapped his hands and smiled, "Great." When the four of them were eating, Zhang Chen's BB phone rang. He looked at it and saw that the message was from Xiao Su. Zhang Chen said to the three of them, "I have to go back to the construction site, and you can continue." When he stood up, he looked at Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu nodded, which meant that he understood. "You can go ahead with peace of mind, Brother Chen. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 143. Zhang Chen returned to the construction site and saw Xiao Su standing at the door of his office. When he saw him coming, Xiao Su said, "Sorry, Mr. Zhang, I called you back from home. I'll get the revised draft of the food court. Tomorrow morning, the leaders of the provincial government will come to inspect and listen to our reconstruction plan." Zhang Chen said, "It doesn't matter, I haven't gone back yet, and I'm having dinner not far away, opposite Aer Liangtang. That coconut chicken hot pot." Xiao Su looked at him and smiled meaningfully. Zhang Chen quickly said that it was with a few men. Xiao Su laughed and said, "That's too abnormal. It's only normal to have women there." Clearly, he knew the place well. The two of them entered the office. Zhang Chen gave the modified renderings to Xiao Su and told him the ideas for the changes. Xiao Su nodded and said, "Okay, I understand." After Xiao Su left, Zhang Chen sat in the office for a while, stood up, and walked out. When he walked to the coconut chicken hot pot restaurant, he saw that the table where they were sitting had been changed. Lou Ligon, Erhuo, and Xiao Wu were all gone. Zhang Chen thought to himself that they had probably gone back, and he was coming from the construction site from behind. Coming out of the main gate, they probably went back through Hixia Road in front. Zhang Chen walked back from Hixia Road. He didn't see them along the way. There was no sign of them until he reached the office. Zhang Chen sat down and waited in the office. With Xiao Wu following them, he wasn't worried about Lou Ligon. Can slip away. Zhang Chen sat in the office for more than half an hour, but they hadn't come back yet. Zhang Chen felt a little uneasy. He thought that if Lou Ligon was alone, Xiao Wu could still deal with it, but these idiots were here too. If he encourages Lou Ligon to go to the airport and go back to take revenge, then Xiao will be in trouble. He can't really take action. Zhang Chen detained Xiao Wu. After a while, Xiao Wu called back. As soon as the call came through, Xiao Wu said anxiously, "Brother Chen, Brother Zanzi and the others have arrived at that kind of place." "Where?" Zhang Chen asked. What is this place called? Deep Love and Misty Rain. Zhang Chen understood. By hearing the name of the store, he knew what was going on inside. Zhang Chen asked Xiao Wu, did the idiot take you there? No, Brother Guo just asked if he wanted to relax. There is a good place nearby. Brother Zanza said he wanted it and we should leave now. This was a big surprise for Zhang Chen. He knew that the second-rate guy had called Lu Ligan several times and Lu Ligan had run away. He didn't expect that Lu Ligan would be so proactive today. Zhang Chen shook his head. He understood that Lu Ligan had probably already. He was so heartbroken that he was numbing himself. Zhang Chen sighed, thinking that if this could dissuade Lu Ligan from returning to Yongcheng, that would be good. Anyway, he was alone now, so he could be a little more chaotic if he wanted to. Xiao Wu, you didn't go in with them? Zhang Chen asked. They dragged me in, but as soon as they entered the room, I ran away. I was afraid that Brother Zanza was deliberately setting a trap and taking the opportunity to escape. Zhang Chen was stunned and thought, this is really possible. But Brother Chen, don't worry, Xiao Wu said, I've already asked. There is only one exit in this place. I'm guarding it below. He can't escape. So where are you returning calls now? The small shop opposite. I looked at the door and didn't come out. Okay, Xiao Wu, then I'll wait for you in the office. After making the call, Xiao Wu returned to the door of the Love is Deep and Rainy store. He simply sat down on the steps at the door. When Xiao Wu sat, he looked like a guard with a knife, with his back straight and his hands on his hands. On his lap, his eyes were watching the people coming and going at the door. 2 people were originally going to come here. They walked to the door quickly and saw this guy sitting on the steps at the door. After thinking about it, they turned back and left. After a while, there was a woman in the door. She stretched out her head to look, then retracted. After a while, a man came out of the door. He walked down the steps and stood in front of Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu looked up. Looking at him, he asked, Brother, what are you doing sitting here? Waiting for someone, waiting for my friend, Xiao Wu said. Where is your friend? Upstairs. Upstairs here. Right. Then can you go upstairs and wait? There is a sofa and air conditioning upstairs. It is much more comfortable than here at the door. I'm not hot. It's not whether it's hot or not, it's like this. We are open for business. If you sit here, the customers won't dare to come. It's strange. I'm sitting here and I'm not blocking their way. Why don't they dare to come? The man smiled, stretched out his hand, patted Xiao Wu's arm, and said to him, Brother, if you sit here, people will think you are in plain clothes. Do you understand? Xiao Wu understood. He stood up and wanted to go to the opposite side to wait. At this time, another head stuck out of the door, looked at them, and cursed, What are you talking about with him? Just kick it open. Xiao Wu glared at the man, and the man cursed, Oh, you bastard, you're so cool. While he was scolding, he was about to come out. The man from before quickly stopped him and told him to forget it and just go away. Xiao Wu looked at them and sat down on the steps again. Now, the 2 people stopped working and walked over together. What do you mean, brother? Asked the first man. Xiao Wu looked at him and said to him, I am also your guest and I have paid, but I don't want to stay up there. I want to sit down below, can't I? The second man cursed, What the hell is this place? You paid here, but you're not on top. You like to be below. Are you a fool? Or do you think we are fools? The man said and reached out to catch Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu also stood up, more than half a head shorter than the man. The man put his hand on Xiao Wu's shoulder. Xiao Wu asked, What do you want to do, want to take action? The man cursed, Your mother forced you to do it, so what if you do it? Before he finished speaking, Xiao Wu suddenly hit his chin with an uppercut. The man leaned back, and Xiao Wu caught up with him with another straight punch, hitting his stunned face. The man didn't even say a word, and fell down. When the first man saw Xiao Wu punching so fast, he knew that this guy had been trained and was not easy to mess with. He quickly stopped him, hugged Xiao Wu, and said to him, "Brother, brother, don't do anything." When people on the street saw the fight, they all gathered around. Several people also ran out of the door. The guy who was knocked to the ground got up from the ground and wanted to rush over. The first guy who came out rushed towards the others. Several people said to pull him up. Those people pulled the guy back to the door. The man holding Xiao Wu told the people around him that it was okay, it was okay. Hearing someone fighting below, several girls from upstairs also ran down to watch the fun. There was a girl who was the second-rate guy in front who ordered for Xiao Wu. When she saw Xiao Wu, she hurried over and said to the man, "Boss, this is my guest." The boss glanced at her and said angrily, "Why is your guest not in the room and running downstairs?" The girl flattened her mouth and said, "I don't know either. He just ran out without doing anything. I'm still looking for him everywhere." The onlookers burst into laughter, and Xiao Wu's face turned crimson. The boss said to Xiao Wu, "Brother, there's a misunderstanding. Can we go upstairs?" Xiao Wu's face turned even redder. He broke away from his boss and shouted, "I'm not going up, I'm down below." Someone around shouted, "It's amazing, there is even a prostitute who turns around and looks for clients." Xiao Wu glared at the man, who quickly retreated back into the crowd. The boss was helpless. He told the girl to go inside and get a stool. The girl said "Oh" and ran back to the door. After a while, she came out with a steel folding chair and handed it to the boss. The boss gave the chair to the boss. "Open it and ask Xiao Wu to sit down." Xiao Wu looks towards the opposite side. He points to a cypress tree and says, "I'll go sit over there." Xiao Wu carried the chair to the other side of the road, put the chair down under the cypress tree, and sat down. The love is deep and the rain is misty. The crowd at the door dispersed as they saw that there was no more excitement to see. Xiao Wu sat for a while, and the girl came out of the door again, brought Xiao Wu a bottle of water, and said to Xiao Wu, "Boss, please drink some water." Xiao Wu said thank you. Xiao Wu sat for more than half an hour. The second guy and Lu Ligan came out of the door. The boss followed them and pointed at Xiao Wu opposite. The second guy and Lu Ligan came over. Before they could get closer, the boss the goods shouted, "We are still looking for you upstairs." "Why, I heard that you were down there and knocked down their bodyguard with 2 punches. The Pentium era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 144. The 3 of them returned to Wanghai Tower. As soon as they entered Zhang Chen's office, the second-hand guy shouted excitedly, "Instructor, you are the only one left. You are the only one left. Ask the reporter if that place is good." "Okay, an unprecedented experience," Lu Ligan shouted. He saw Zhang Chen looking at him and said seriously, "Really, you can't imagine it? I didn't know about this before, and there are so many tricks. All amateur players cannot compare with their professional players." "Is that so? That's why I'm too lazy to find a girlfriend. When the lights are turned off, all of them are idiots. You have to teach her everything. They're forced to raise her, and they're in trouble," said the idiot proudly. "And this, instructor, it's a pity that I didn't see it." He was forced to raise it. The second-rate guy slapped Xiao Wu's shoulder hard with his hand and shouted loudly, "The boss was scared. He told me that this way, just like that, with 1 uppercut and 1 straight punch, they knocked over their bodyguard, oh, forced one." The second-rate guy was talking and gesticulating. "Isn't it true? I said he can fight 3 of them. Is that right, Lu Ligan said to Erhuo. That's right, I believe it, you were raised by force, the idiot shouted. Zhang Chen asked Xiao Wu, what's wrong? Xiao Wu said it's okay, I'll wait for brother Zhangzi and brother Huo below. Wait, the second-hand guy yelled, this is good, brother-in-law, haha, doesn't it sound very majestic? Indeed, you can go hang out on the beach, Lu Ligan said. Isn't that right? Haha, from now on, I will let the people below call me Brother Goods. Zhang Chen looked at Xiao Wu, and Xiao Wu continued, I was waiting below, but they didn't let me sit there, and there was a little conflict. Zhang Chen nodded, it's better to be careful. After all, it's new here, and people who do that kind of business are all black and white. Xiao Wu said okay, I understand. What are you afraid of? We are forced to raise them, and we accept both black and white. The second-rate guy yelled, and the BB camera in his waist rang. He looked at it, his voice suddenly became softer, and he said to Zhang Chen, Uncle Tan is looking for me. I have to go back first. Zhang Chen said with a smile, go quickly, your bideo is looking for you. If you don't hurry up, you may get a broken dick. The second-rate guy chuckled. He walked to the door, then came back, stood in front of Lu Ligan, and asked seriously, are you still sad now? Lu Ligan shook his head, I'm not sad anymore. Do you think it's a good kick? Yes, good kicking. I told you, there are plenty of beautiful girls. Don't hang yourself on a tree. Women are like this. If you dote on her, she will go up to the sky. You think she is the most beautiful girl in the world and ignore her. She was forced to raise her, and she wags her tail in turn. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen were both laughing. The second-rate guy looked at Zhang Chen and cursed, you are the same, that ugly guy pulling pigweed, you should throw it away earlier. Zhang Chen was stunned, what kind of ugly guy is pulling pigweed? Then he realized that he was talking about Jin Lily. He had lied to him that day, saying that Jin Lily was his childhood sweetheart who chopped firewood and pulled pigweed together. The second-rate guy picked up the hot water bottle on the table and said to them, I'm telling you, you guys, if you only have this hot water bottle in your life, you must sprinkle it on the right place. Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Xiao Wu all laughed and bent over. Lu Ligan shouted, thank you brother Huo for enlightening me. The second-rate guy said proudly, as I said before, if you feel sad, just hold me captive and I will take you to see all the scenery in Hiken. Lu Ligan said okay. The second-rate guy then walked away. As soon as the second-rate guy left, none of the three people in the office knew what to say, so they all fell silent. The office was as quiet as death, and the only sounds that could be heard were the clanging sound of the mixer outside, and the non-stop whirring of the winch. A whirring start-up sound. The roof was cast in situ on the construction site today. This work could not be interrupted. The entire roof could only be poured continuously in one go. After they tied the steel bars, supported and fixed the formwork, they deliberately learned about the weather forecast and knew that Hiken it was sunny for 4 or 5 days. This work started early this morning and will last until tomorrow morning. Zhang Chen stood up and told Lu Ligan and Xiao Wu, I'll go upstairs and take a look. You guys wait for me and we'll go to Yilin's house together. Why did you go to Yilin's house? Lu Li asked curiously. Eat water spinach, Zhang Chen scolded, I only ate half of my humming dinner. If I run back and run over again, you guys won't be here. Okay, I just fought for 300 rounds and I'm hungry, Lu Ligan said, but Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu both heard it. There was an obvious bluff in his voice, and he was deliberately pretending to be broken. The smell of brokenness. Zhang Chen walked out of the door. It was as bright as day and there was a lively scene. One mixer was not enough. Yesterday, Zhang Chen borrowed 2 more mixers from Mr. Qin and his colleagues. The 3 machines worked together, like 3 giant machines. The beasts are constantly devouring cement, river sand, and stones. At the gate of the construction site, there is a steady stream of large trucks carrying supplementary materials. Although the space in front of their door is not too small, it still cannot be piled up if all the materials are prepared, so they must be constantly replenished. Zhang Chen arrived at the top of the building. The captain saw Zhang Chen and came over. Zhang Chen asked him how he was doing. The captain said it was no problem and could be completed on time. Zhang Chen said yes. By the way, have you notified the canteen? Zhang Chen asked. Talk to them, the captain said. The staff cafeteria of Wanghai building used to prepare supper in the middle of the night. The hotel security guards and waiters wanted to eat, but there were not so many people. Today, there were dozens of people working all night in my place. If I didn't notify them, I would be afraid. Can't even drink the soup. I'll be out for a while. The office door is open. If you have something to do, I'll be detained, Zhang Chen told the captain, and the captain agreed. The three people didn't even return to their rooms, but went directly to the food stall. The boss saw that they were very enthusiastic, and he knew what they wanted without giving any orders. The boss asked Zhang Chen, the same thing? Zhang Chen nodded and told him, it's the same as before. The three of them sat down. Xiao Wu was not very good at drinking. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen did not persuade him. Zhang Chen was working overtime at the construction site today and might have something to deal with at any time, so he could not drink too much. Lu Ligan could only drink one. He drank by himself, and after drinking, Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu in turn asked him to drink less. When the three of them were together, the topic they talked about was naturally the affairs in the troupe. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu both deliberately avoided Tan Shahen and Feng Logui, but there were only so many people in the troupe. How could they avoid this when talking about the troupe? The two of them chatted uncomfortably, but in the end they had no choice but to force Xiao Wu to talk about the achievements he and several other martial arts students had made in Yongcheng. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan discovered for the first time that Xiao Wu was so eloquent. He had always been a taciturn person in the troupe. They were very interested in listening to his chat. These things meant to them, they were all new, but the places and characters in his stories were all familiar to them. When they listened, they felt as if they were back in Yongcheng. Although it was a different Yongcheng than what they knew, the underground Yongcheng, when they listened, they felt that Yongcheng had become richer and more three-dimensional. Lu Ligan kept saying, "Great, this paragraph, Xiao Wu, I will definitely write into the book in the future." Zhang Chen also feels that he can draw a long underground scroll in Yongcheng. Who could have imagined that even in a closed and tame mountain town like Yongcheng, there would be bloodshed and hidden murderous intent all the time? While Zhang Chen was eating, he secretly paid attention to Lu Ligan. He found that except for the fact that he was a little dull and a little drunk after drinking, everything else was as usual. He couldn't help but secretly breathe a sigh of relief. It seemed that this was the most unbearable moment for him. It has passed. They ate until more than 12 o'clock before returning to the room. Jianqiang, Jia, Wenwen, and Qian next door did not come back. The three of them entered the room and sat down on the two beds respectively. Lu Ligan sat on his bed, Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu sat opposite him. "Pol, are you okay?" Zhang Chen asked. Lu Ligan looked at him and said with a smile, "It's okay, what's wrong with me? Are you talking about Tan Shahen? Don't worry, I've already forgotten about her if you don't mention her. What you and the second-rate guy said are all right. There are so many women. What's so great about it? Zhang Chen, let me tell you, I went there today and realized what a different feeling is. You should try it too, ha 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 ha." Lu Ligan burst out laughing. His smile suddenly turned into howling. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu were at a loss. Lu Ligan cried. "Zhang Chen, do you know that there are indeed many women in this world, but there is only one, Tan Shahen. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 145. Lu Ligan was finally too drunk and fell asleep. Zhang Chen called Xiao Wu to the corridor outside and told him that you don't have to go to work tomorrow and follow him no matter where he goes. Xiao Wu said yes. Zhang Chen first went to the construction site to take a look. The captain saw him coming and told him that there was nothing here. It was so late. Mr. Zhang, you should go back and rest. Zhang Chen said okay, you should find a place to squint and go to my office. My office door is open. No, the captain said, I'm used to it. Every project, cast-in-place roof, or beam, is like this. Zhang Chen said okay, I will come for you early tomorrow. If you have anything to do, you can detain me. By the way, there are cigarettes, wine, and biscuits in the cabinet in the office. You can take them yourself. Okay, got it, thank you Mr. Zhang. Zhang Chen returned to Wenmingdong. It was almost 2 o'clock. The surroundings were very quiet. Zhang Chen opened the door below and locked it. The old-fashioned door made a harsh creaking sound in the middle of the night when it was opened and closed. When Zhang Chen walked to the patio on the first floor, he saw the lights in Gu Shufang's room on the third floor were on. Zhang Chen then remembered that Xiao Wu had not told Gu Shufang about coming to work at the construction site, and he must remember to tell her tomorrow. When Zhang Chen went up to the second floor, the lights in Gu Shufang's room were darkened. Zhang Chen went to the bathroom to take a shower and returned to the room to sleep. The next morning, Zhang Chen woke up at around 6 o'clock. When he came back from the bathroom to brush his teeth and wash his face, he saw Gu Shufang standing at the stairs of the third floor. Zhang Chen and Gu Shufang said, Accountant Gu, I have something to tell you. As soon as Zhang Chen spoke, Gu Shufang was stunned for a moment. She basically stood here every morning. She felt that she was standing at the top of the stairs and could smell the cool water vapor transpiring from the well on the first floor patio. This kind of water vapor does not contain salt, and is very similar to the water vapor in her hometown of Suzhou. Of course, she also enjoyed the feeling of looking down from high to low, especially Xiaolin and Kejin. When she saw her, she knew in her heart that the person with the surname Fu on the surface was, letting his two nieces take care of her was actually to monitor her and take care of her. When they first arrived, they even dared to contradict her face to face. They dared to go directly upstairs and break into her room without even knocking on the door, taking her things at will. Gu Shufang fought back tenaciously and patiently every day with her indifference and murderous eyes, defeating them step by step, making them retreat little by little, retreating from her room, then from the third floor to the second floor, and from retreat from the second floor to the first floor. Now, without her order, they would not even dare to go up to the second floor casually. They would not even dare to take a step on the stairs from the second floor to the third floor. Even on the first floor, as long as they saw her shadow, they would not dare to go up. They would suddenly become silent and feel uncomfortable. They were uncomfortable, but Gu Shufang felt at ease, and she was even secretly proud that this house had finally become her independent kingdom. Every time Zhang Chen came in and out, he saw Gu Shufang standing at the top of the stairs. He pretended not to see her and walked alone. So today he not only looked at Gu Shufang, but also talked to Gu Shufang. Gu Shufang felt a little strange. In the past, even if something happened, they would not even talk about it when they met at the door of the office. Instead, they would wait until both parties sat down at their desks and were ready before they started to formally talk about their work. The negotiations were like diplomatic negotiations between envoys from the two countries, every word was carefully considered, and there was not even a single unnecessary pause. If expressed in words, their communication would have no ellipses. Gu Shufang thought for a moment, then combed her hair and walked down step by step. Zhang Chen also put down his towel and toothbrush and came out of his room. The two of them walked to the door of the office almost at the same time, both holding keys in their hands. Gu Shufang insisted not to put them down. Zhang Chen took a step back and stood beside Gu Shufang. Behind him, he watched her insert the key into the door and open it. Zhang Chen saw that the back of her neck, probably because of the hair covering it, was whiter than her face and hands. If she were to paint such skin, she wouldn't even need to add a little bit of warm color to the white. Apply a little purple on your skin. This kind of skin will make people curious. Does it also have warmth? The two of them entered the office. Zhang Chen walked behind Gu Shufang, but sat down before her because Gu Shufang had to complete her set of inspection procedures before she could sit down. After Zhang Chen waited for her to sit down, he pushed a copy of Xiaowu's ID card to her and told her, "This person came to work yesterday, please register." Gu Shufang picked up the copy of Xiaowu's ID card and looked at it carefully. When she saw Zhang Chen getting a little irritable, Gu Shufang asked, "Are you fellow countrymen?" "Yes, we are from the same troop." "Is there any problem?" Gu Shufang did not say whether there was a problem or not, but asked, "What are you doing here?" "Purchase." After Zhang Chen finished speaking, Gu Shufang didn't say anything, but she was obviously waiting for Zhang Chen's explanation. Zhang Chen had no choice but to continue, "There are too many things on the construction site. I can't handle it all by myself." After Zhang Chen said this, he regretted it and cursed in his heart, "Why the hell are you talking to her about this? Does she care who you use or don't use? Does he know how to decorate?" Gu Shufang asked. "I don't understand." "He knows how to be a good person. I know he is reliable and I trust him." Zhang Chen raised his head and looked at Gu Shufang, and Gu Shufang looked at him. Their eyes seemed to be in conflict. Zhang Chen almost looked away if he hadn't forced himself to hold on. "By the way, you can carefully investigate every item he purchases. If he gets a penny in kickbacks, I will fire him immediately." Zhang Chen was already a little angry when he said this. Gu Shufang smiled slightly. She felt that she had already won this battle and did not need to pursue her. She saw that Zhang Chen's eyes were still red and swollen and asked, "Mr. Zhang got up so early just to talk to me this matter?" Zhang Chen stood up and said to Gu Shufang, "I got up so early because the roof is being poured on the construction site. I have to go to the captain of the plastering team. He hasn't slept for a minute since yesterday morning." Zhang Chen's subtext is that we are all very busy and no one is as boring as you. After Zhang Chen finished speaking, he walked out. Zhang Chen arrived at the construction site and asked the captain to go to the workshed to rest. He stood on the roof of the building. It was only 7 o'clock, and the sun in Haikan was already very strong, and it would get hotter and hotter. But Zhang Chen always stood on the roof of the building. "Stand until noon when the captain gets up." He stood here, although there was nothing specific to do. He just said hello and joked with the workers coming and going from time to time, but he knew that this was very important. The workers were very tired. At this time, if you stand here and let them see that you are also exposed to the sun like them, at least your breath will be smoother. Zhang Chen took out the BB camera from his waist to look at it from time to time. There was no information about Xiaowu. He was a little relieved. According to Lu Ligan's scene last night, Zhang Chen was very worried that he would go there regardless of everything when he woke up. Airport. At about 10 o'clock, the BB camera in Zhang Chen's waist rang. He picked it up and looked at it. It read, "Miss Jin tells you, dear, I will be in Sanya for more than a week to keep an eye on Lu Ligan." At about 11 o'clock, the captain got up and came up to see Zhang Chen. The two of them walked down together. Zhang Chen used the walkie-talkie in his hand to call the security manager, engineering department, and guest room manager of Wanghai International Hotel. Let them go to the small conference room of Wanghai International Hotel for a meeting. When Zhang Chen arrived with the captain, several others arrived, including Xiao Su. After the roof of Wanghai Mall is poured, most of the masonry team will move to the hotel and build a temporary simple lobby in the parking lot, near the elevators going up and down stairs. After it is completed, it will be the original lobby will be completely cut off and internal demolition and construction will begin. In the afternoon, the captain will bring people to the parking lot to set up scaffolding, so the cooperation of these departments is needed. The meeting ended after more than half an hour. Zhang Chen went to the staff cafeteria to have lunch. When he returned to the office, he looked at the BB machine. There was still no movement. He couldn't help but be a little confused. He thought that this morning, Xiao Wu should have followed Lu. The pole is washing the building. Zhang Chen dunked Xiao Wu, but Xiao Wu didn't respond. After more than half an hour, Zhang Chen dunked him again, but there was still no reaction. Zhang Chen was surprised. If Xiao Wu followed Lu Ligan to wash the building, he would definitely find an opportunity to give him a return the call myself. Zhang Chen really wanted to go to Yilin's house to have a look, but here in the afternoon, they have to set up scaffolding in the parking lot in front. Working in the front is not as good as in the back. They work on their own in the back. The front needs the cooperation of several departments, so it will definitely happen. There are problems like this. When dealing with the department managers in the hotel, the captain's weight was not enough, so Zhang Chen had to take action on his own. Zhang Chen knew what it meant to be anxious. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 146. By about 6 o'clock in the afternoon, the roof of the building had been poured, and half of the scaffolding in the parking lot in front was erected. After a while, there would be many guests eating at Wanghai restaurant, and the parking lot was very busy, so Zhang Chen and the others had to put up the scaffolding. It stopped at 6 o'clock. There was nothing going on at the construction site, so Zhang Chen got up and was about to go to Yilin's house to take a look, but the BB camera in his waist rang. It was Xiao Wu. Zhang Chen hurried back, and Xiao Wu said to him, "Brother Chen, Brother Zanzi and the others went to that place again." "I'm at the door." "Still there yesterday?" "No, it's Yulong Road, a place called Taipei Love Story." "Okay, I'll be right over." Zhang Chen rode his motorcycle to Yulong Road. It was still dark. Far away, he saw the neon sign of Taipei Love Story, which was constantly changing with colorful lights. Zhang Chen saw that the little Wu sat on the iron railing of the bus stop opposite and stared across. Zhang Chen stopped in front of Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu looked sad and told Zhang Chen, "Brother Ganza didn't go anywhere today. He was just at home, lying on the bed. He didn't even want to eat. I didn't dare walk away, fearing that he will run away and not be able to page you back." "Then you haven't eaten anything all day?" Zhang Chen asked hurriedly. "No, when I got here, I bought 2 loaves of bread at the shop," Xiao Wu said. Zhang Chen felt that this matter was serious today. Ever since Lu Ligan arrived in Hainan, no matter whether it was windy or rainy, he had never been absent from work for a day. He was like a machine. As soon as he woke up every day, he would wash the building. He himself told Zhang Chen that he couldn't stop washing the building. Once he stopped, people would become lazy. He might stop from now on. "I was fighting against myself. But today, he finally stopped." Was he defeated by himself or by Tan Shahen and Feng Logui? Did the idiot come to call him? Zhang Chen asked. No, he lay down until about 4 o'clock and ran to the store to page the salesman. "I wanted to send you a reply, but he refused and said I was going to betray him. He almost got angry with me." Zhang Chen's heart skipped a beat. Did he come on his own? Yes, he asked Brother Goods if there were any other good places, and Brother Goods asked us to meet here. "Damn it, you idiot," This Heiken Ding Dong Living Dictionary really provides service 24 hours a day, Jiang Chen cursed in his heart, but what he was more worried about was that Lu Ligan's behavior was too abnormal. Well, from yesterday to today, is he just out of anger, or is he really out of control because of the different experience he had yesterday? Jiang Chen shook his head. I think Brother Zanzi is finished. He is numbing himself, Xiao Wu said. Jiang Chen nodded. He was right, this bastard was like that. By the way, how was he after I left last night? Jiang Chen asked. This guy woke up at about 4 o'clock and ran downstairs to borrow a knife from the landlord. I thought he was going to do something, but he came up and chopped coconuts. There were coconuts under the humming bed, and he chopped them with knife after knife. Drank coconut and asked me to drink too. My stomach was bloated. Mom, it's the same today. I chop coconuts all the time. The room is full of coconuts and the floor is covered with coconut water. I don't know how many times I've mopped the floor. Have you finished cutting? Jiang Chen asked. It's done. Jiang Chen heaved a sigh of relief and said, he is venting his anger. It is better to chop coconuts than to chop people. Xiao Wu, you are right. He has no murderous intention. He only knows how to chop coconuts. Why are you looking for a coconut to vent your anger on? Xiao Wuqi asked. Jiang Chen sighed and said, when we were still in Yongcheng, Tan Shuhen said she liked eating coconuts. When the Pole arrived here, I bought her a coconut every week and kept it until she came. Didn't you see that coconut? It's all dated. Damn, this is so humming bloody, Xiao Wu cursed. After he has vented his anger, he probably won't want to go back, Jiang Chen said. Jiang Chen and Xiao Wu lifted their motorcycles onto the sidewalk, and the two of them sat on the curb, watching Taipei Love Story opposite. It was getting dark, and more customers came to Taipei Love Story. Jiang Chen was wondering, it was obviously a ding-dong store, why did they choose such a store name? Are they all Taiwanese girls, or is this really a real place? Will there be love? If there is love here, it is not a story, but an accident. Inexplicably, Jiang Chen suddenly thought of Xiao Zhao. He thought that he couldn't even lie to himself about his relationship with Xiao Zhao. What was his longing for Xiao Zhao? How different is Xiao Zhao from the people here? Jiang Chen cursed in his heart. I didn't expect this place to be such a disgusting store with a sign bigger than our department store in Yongchang, Xiao Wu sighed. Is it an eye-opener? Jiang Chen said with a smile. I'm just weird. What's weird? Don't the old school just care? How to control them? There are too many. Didn't you see that there are people like this on the road to the provincial government? That's in front of the provincial government. I think it's not easy for the old school to control them. Why? There are a lot of merchants from Taiwan and Hong Kong in Heiken. These are all guests invited to attract investment. There is nothing the old school can do if they catch them. Besides, they don't care, and nothing big happens. Yongcheng has strict control. But the public security is not much better than Heiken. It's true that Yongcheng is getting more and more chaotic. Jiang Chen couldn't help but laugh. He thought that Xiao Wu, who fought outside every day, actually complained about the security of Yongcheng. You have contributed a lot, right? Jiang Chen smiled. No, Xiao Wu shook his head and said seriously, we never kill innocent people indiscriminately. I will only take action when someone invades my territory. Where is your territory? From our group to the cultural square and the movie theater, I don't care. That's half of Yongcheng. Jiang Chen was very interested in this topic. He wanted to know about the underground ecology of Yongcheng. He asked, then will the site be taken away by others if you are not here? Xiao Wu shook his head, those people don't dare even more. Oh, why? Jiang Chen asked curiously. I am in Yongcheng. They at least know where I will be every day. Sometimes they will send people to follow me. If I am gone, I may appear anytime and anywhere. If they cause trouble in our territory, they will be worried on the way back after it is done. Will I suddenly get out? Xiao Wu said quite confidently that Jiang Chen understood. He thought for a moment and realized that this was really the case. What was hidden underground was indeed scarier than what was revealed publicly. Brother Ganzi is so pitiful, Xiao Wu said, looking at the Taipei love story opposite. Why are you so pitiful? Jiang Chen asked. Although Sister Shahan is nice to me, in this matter, let me tell you, such a woman is not worth Brother Ganzi's sadness at all. He usually writes too many fancy words and gets himself involved. Xiao Wu said. Jiang Chen smiled and said, what you said makes sense. People like second-rate people won't be so sentimental. Brother Huo is a very nice person. He is honest, doesn't pretend, and just says what he wants, Xiao Wu said. Jiang Chen nodded. At about 7 o'clock, the second guy and Lu Ligan came out. The second guy saw them, walked over and asked Xiao Wu, didn't you kill anyone today? Xiao Wu smiled and said, no, or will I kill you? As Xiao Wu said that, he raised his foot and pretended to kick the second-rate guy in the crotch. The second-rate guy quickly clamped his legs tightly and shouted, no, you idiot, don't kick the guy I'm eating into. The three of them laughed, and Lu Ligan said, where the hell are you going to eat? Jiang Chen scolded, you are not a guy who eats, you are a guy who loses money. If this baby of mine breaks down, then I won't even be able to eat. Who else is he eating? Asked the second-rate guy. The three of them had just finished laughing and started laughing again. Jiang Chen looked at Lu Ligan, but Lu Ligan did not look at him, but shouted, where are we going to have dinner? We are hungry. There is a Hainanese chicken rice restaurant right in front. It tastes good. Let's go, Erhuo told them. They arrived at the chicken restaurant Erhuo mentioned and ordered a wenchang chicken, a plate of fried fresh squid, a plate of fresh fish belly, a plate of white-cut dongguan goat, and a plate of garlic-crusted shrimp. Xiao asked for coconut juice, and Erhuo asked for a bottle of aphrodisiac wine, and told Lu Ligan, take up, make up, the reporter has worked hard today. He and Jiang Chen also said that as an instructor, if you are forced to work, you are not as good as a big reporter. Look, other reporters have joined the group, but you are not. Jiang Chen smiled and said, isn't there Xiao Wu? When he arrived at the door, you let him go. The idiot quickly waved his hand, he can't do it, he is a martial arts practitioner, he has to retain his true energy, and only when he is a boy can he practice boy kung fu. Xiao Wu, am I right? Yes, yes, Brother Huo is right, Xiao Wu said with a smile. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 147. Jiang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Xiao Wu returned to Yilan's house. When they entered the room, they saw piles of coconut shells in the room. Lu Ligan saw Jiang Chen staring at the coconut shells on the ground. Smiled, and said to Jiang Chen, we've all finished drinking, and it's not your share. Jiang Chen wanted to say something, but after thinking about it, he didn't say it. He just sighed in his heart. The three of them sat down on the bed. Lu Ligan and Jiang Chen said, let Xiao Wu go to work tomorrow. Don't worry, I will definitely not go back. Jiang Chen said, yes, I believe you, Pol. We are doing this for your own good. Now that things have happened, we can only face it. Lu Ligan nodded and said, I know. After a while, Lu Ligan sighed and said, Jiang Chen, I can't go back. I am a bad person now, just like a second-rate person. As Lu Ligan said this, he turned away and fell on the bed. He turned over and turned his back to them. The moment he turned over, Jiang Chen saw that Lu Ligan's eyes were red. Jiang Chen stared at Lu Ligan's back and suddenly realized that if Lu Ligan was keeping his chastity by rejecting the second-rate invitations again and again in the past, then starting from yesterday, he not only gave up on himself, but also deliberately let others down. He rotted to avenge the Tan Shahan in his heart. After the revenge was over, the Lu Ligan of the past would no longer exist. As for the real Tan Shahan, she probably wouldn't care what happened to him. Otherwise, how could she say goodbye completely without even saying goodbye? It is true that he will never return to Yongcheng. He made himself a bad person by making himself unworthy of Tan Shahan and giving up the idea of returning to Yongcheng. From yesterday to today, he has been fighting with himself, but there is no way there will be a winner in this battle. Xiao Wu is right, a person who understands too many principles will not have murderous intentions. All he can do is kill himself again and again. Gangzi, what are you going to do tomorrow? Zhang Chen asked. Washing the building. Others abandoned me, but I can't abandon myself. Lu Ligan turned over and sat up. He looked at Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu and said, Zhang Chen, Xiao Wu, I swear, Lu Ligan, will definitely, if I want to look like a person, I want to be as rich as the country, make a lot of money, I want to be able to buy the entire Yongcheng. Other than that, I have no other goals. Okay, I believe you can do it, Zhang Chen said. Xiao Wu was confused. What did buying Yongcheng mean? He asked, Brother Ganzi, if you buy the entire Yongcheng, can you make me the police chief? I will call those old schoolers into the office one by one and scold them. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan both laughed. Lu Ligan said, okay, I'll let you be the county magistrate of Yongcheng. You can call the police chief into the office and scold him. Xiao Wu chuckled, that's so impressive. Am I talking in vain? Zhang Chen sat in Lu Ligan's room until about 10 o'clock. He was really sleepy. He told Xiao Wu that you should help Ganzi clean up the place tomorrow morning and then go to work. Xiao Wu said yes. Zhang Chen returned to Wenming East and went upstairs. Unexpectedly, he found that the door of the office was still open and Gu Shufang was sitting there. Zhang Chen thought to himself that Gu Shufang was still in the office so late. She probably had something to tell him. He was leaving. He walked over and sat down at his desk. Gu Shufang lowered her head and looked at the book. What she was reading was San Mao's The Story of the Sahara. After Zhang Chen sat down, Gu Shufang stood up. She pushed a wide-mouthed thermos over and said to Zhang Chen, drink it. Zhang Chen looked at her in surprise, and she turned and walked out. Zhang Chen opened the thermos and saw ginseng and pigeon soup inside. What the hell was this drama about? Zhang Chen sat blankly, thinking that either Gu Shufang heard his sarcastic words in the morning, or that Gu Shufang felt that his words of assurance for Xiao Wu spoke to her heart. In any case, this can be regarded as a signal of truce and friendship. Zhang Chen shook his head. The ginseng and pigeon soup was still hot. Zhang Chen didn't know if Gu Shufang was secretly observing. He saw pushed over with the thermos bottle, and there was a napkin with a spoon on it. Well, since you want a truce and a friendly gesture, I'll accept it. Zhang Chen sat there, drank the ginseng and pigeon soup, and walked to the door with the thermos bottle. The third floor was already dark. Zhang Chen went to the bathroom, washed the thermos bottle and spoon carefully, and returned to the office. He put it on Gu Shufang's desk, thought about it, took a piece of white paper, and wrote the word thank you. He casually brushed a few strokes on the white paper and sketched out a Jiangnan garden, with the gentle spring breeze and thousands of willow threads. It was so enchanting and exuberant that it made people happy to see it. Zhang Chen was very familiar with this kind of garden. In Yongcheng and Jiangnan, almost every ancient town had several of them. Zhang Chen thought that Gu Shufang must also be familiar with such a scene. The next morning, Zhang Chen did not see Gu Shufang. If he had seen her, he would have said goodbye to her instead of turning a blind eye. At around 9 o'clock, Xiao Wu came and told Zhang Chen that in the morning they had pulled a tricycle full of coconut shells. Yilan mother helped ride them to the World Trade Center and threw them in the abandoned fields in the development zone. Yilan mother also returned, he said, if you like coconuts so much, you don't need to buy them. I will bring you a cart every day. Zhang Chen laughed loudly and asked quickly, what happened in the end? Brother Zanzi told her that these are all left by you and you like to eat them. Mom, Zhang Chen cursed, did the Pole go to work today? It should be that when he came out in the morning, I followed him until he entered the Huaninj building. Then I rushed over with confidence. Last night, he talked to me all night about how to make money. Later, the guy next door, when the two girls came back, he went to their room to play again. I don't know when he came back, I was already asleep, Xiao Wu said. Zhang Chen made a list of the materials needed for the simple lobby of the hotel and asked Xiao Wu to go to the market, get the prices and samples back first, and compare several more. Xiao Wu said yes. Can you ride a motorcycle? Zhang Chen asked. Certainly. Then you ride a motorcycle. From now on, when you go to the market, you will ride a motorcycle. I'm at the construction site and I won't go out. Okay. Xiao Wu took the keys to the motorcycle and went out happily. The phone on the table rang and Zhang Chen answered it. It was Jin Lily. Jin Lily asked him how Lu Ligan was doing. Zhang Chen told Jin Lily about Lu Ligan's situation in the past 2 days. Of course he didn't dare to tell her that Lu Ligan went to Love in the Rain and Taipei Love Story. The twists and turns of the matter will be reduced a lot. After hearing this, Jin Lily breathed a sigh of relief. She said it was okay, the Pole didn't sound that sad, and we were worried for nothing. Zhang Chen could only smile. By the way, dear, there is one more thing. Didn't I tell you that we bought a hotel in Sanya? Mr. Xia was not satisfied with the original decoration design and thought it was too rustic. He said, otherwise, you can do this project. How about doing it? Zhang Chen was in a dilemma. He said, your construction site is in Sanya, and I can't leave. If it were in Haikan, I would run back and forth between the two construction sites, and it wouldn't be a big problem. But it definitely won't work in Sanya. I can't leave here for a day, impossible. You also know that the Wanghai Tower will not be completed until October, so I won't delay you. Jin Lily sighed on the phone and said, actually, that's what I told Mr. Xia. Oh, what a great opportunity, but it's a pity that we won't be able to earn this money. Zhang Chen did not feel that this was a good opportunity. He thought to himself that it would not be appropriate for him to get involved in the business of Jin Lily Company. This would complicate the original simple relationship. Even if he started doing it, he would not be able to do it. You will feel lack of confidence. Besides, after completing the Wanghai Tower project and becoming famous in Hainan, are you still worried about having no business? Didn't Mr. Fu also say that he would be invited to come to Wanghai Tower as the vice president? The vice president of Wanghailu, in Haikan, is also a stylish person when he goes out. Is your project urgent? Zhang Chen asked Jin Lily. It's urgent. Investors will come next week. Mr. Xia hopes that if he can show them the new design plan, he can talk to them about additional investment, Jin Lily said. In this case, Lily, you and Mr. Xia suggest that this project should be done by Mr. Tan and others. I have been there and know Mr. Tan's company well. I think Mr. Tan is quite reliable. By the way, I can help with the design, which is what I promised him when I left Tan Corporation. You don't have time to come to Sanya, how can you design it? Mr. Tan can go there. He can come back with floor plans and photos. He knows what I need. I can make a few renderings first so that you have something to show the guests. I will make time to go there later. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 148. Only an hour later, Mr. Tan called Zhang Chen and told him that Mr. Xia had called him and decided to hand over the hotel project to their company. I heard that you recommended it, Xiao Zhang. Thank you. This is a big project, Mr. Tan said. It's just a little effort for me. In the past, my eldest brother took care of me in the company, so what's the point of being so polite, Jiang Chen said with a smile. By the way, eldest brother, when are you going to Sanya? Their plan is more advanced urgent. Mr. Tan laughed loudly and said, I'm on my way there now. I knew you couldn't leave, so I didn't call you. This plan is for you, but Mr. Xia asked you to do it. You must help me. Brother, you're welcome. My girlfriend is with Mr. Xia, and this matter is my own business, Jiang Chen said. Mr. Tan smiled and said, I know, I will come back tomorrow and give you all the photos and information. Jiang Chen said yes, I will also hurry up here. When Mr. Tan arrived in Sanya, it was already past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Mr. Xia, Jin Lily, and the others were waiting for him at the Bayview Hotel. The weeds on the construction site had been cleared away. Manager CAI's construction company had also re-entered the site. Outside the hotel the scaffolding has been re-erected. When investors come here next week, it should be a lively scene. After Mr. Tan arrived, he exchanged a few words with Mr. Xia and immediately said, I'm in a hurry and we'll talk later. Mr. Xia smiled and said, you go about your business and we'll have dinner together later. Mr. Tan and his men took 2 cameras on the construction site and took hundreds of photos inside and outside. In order to rush for time, they decided to find a KQO store in Sanya to develop and print the photos so that they could get the photos back to Haikan early tomorrow morning. If we take the film back to Haikan for printing, we will not be able to get the photos until the day after tomorrow at the earliest, which is a waste of a day. Mr. Tan asked where the KQO store was, and hurriedly said goodbye to Mr. Xia and the others. He went into the city and found the KQO store. He told the other party that it was urgent and he would like it tomorrow morning. If you want to rush, each photo will cost you 30 cents. I'll give you a discount, just add 25 cents. The owner of the Kakwon store looked at a dozen Kodak 135 films on the glass counter, each with 36 sheets, which is roughly. After a moment, I knew this was a big deal. Okay, you can just work overtime at night and get me out, Mr. Tan said to his boss. Mr. Xia, Jin Lily, and Lao Bao were still on the construction site, looking inside and outside. Standing on the platform at the entrance of the hotel and looking left and right, Mr. Xia always felt that something was missing. Mr. Xia thought for a long time and figured it out. He asked Lao Bao to find Manager CAI. I had something to say to him. Manager CAI came over soon. Mr. Xia pointed to the 2 unfinished hotels on the left and asked him, who are the owners of these 2 hotels? Do you know them? Manager CAI shook his head and asked Mr. Xia, what do you want to do? Borrow their space for half a day next Wednesday afternoon. You can arrange for some people to come over and do whatever they want on the construction site. As long as you can see from here that the construction site is still under construction normally. Manager CAI was confused and asked, what are you doing? Don't worry, can you do it? Mr. Xia asked. What's so difficult about this? The 2 bosses, like the one surnamed Chen, have all escaped, so there's a guard left on the construction site. Just bring a piece of meat to them. You can do whatever you want when you go in. Manager CAI said, and Mr. Xia nodded. He said yes, you will arrange for people to come over then, and they will all be active outdoors. Don't hide in the shade, so that they can be seen from here. Although Manager CAI didn't understand what Mr. Xia was going to do, he still agreed. Isn't it just to arrange some people to walk around under the sun? What's the problem? Jin Lily and Lao Bao, standing on the side, already understood Mr. Xia's thoughts. On Wednesday afternoon, it was when they arranged for investors to come here to see. Mr. Xia didn't want them to see that Sanya was dead. It scares them into retreating. He wanted them to see that not only was Sanya not dead, but everyone was still working hard. Only in this way could they raise their worth and negotiate terms with investors. Mr. Xia looked to the right. The hotels that had opened and the entire Daedanghai beach were deserted. On the white beach, except for a few casuarina trees standing proudly, there was no one. Although the sun was shining brightly on the beach, it was normal that there was no one there, but the parking lot of the hotel was also sparse, and the cafe under the row of awnings was also empty, so it couldn't be fooled. Manager CAI, can you find some cars and park them in the parking lot over there? We'll pay for the parking and send some people to sit there and drink coffee, Mr. Xia asked Manager CAI, pointing to the hotel on the right. Okay, I'll let the trucks and tractors that deliver goods to us park there. There's no rule that tractors can't be parked. People will just pass us. At worst, work here will be stopped for half a day. Manager CAI said, Mr. That's right, otherwise no matter where you send them, all my people will be here. Okay, just pretend I didn't say anything, Mr. Xia said quickly, don't worry about this. All your people can just work on this construction site for me. I will figure out a way for both sides. Manager CAI walked away full of suspicion, wondering what the hell he was doing. After Manager CAI left, Lao Bao and Jin Lily couldn't help laughing. Their stomachs hurt from laughing. Mr. Xia himself also started laughing. After laughing, he cursed, "You are still in the mood to laugh, why don't you think of a solution quickly?" Jin Lily said, "It would be easier if we were in Haikan. At worst, we can ask Zhang Chen to send dozens of people to the construction site to show off, and then call a few friends to sit there and drink coffee. As you can tell in Haikan, I can fill these parking lots just by saying hello to my friends. The problem is that in Sanya, it's too long to go back and forth in one day. I can't let them come so far, Mr. Xia," he cursed, frowning. "Then there's nothing I can do." Jin Lily sighed and looked at Lao Bao, who quickly shouted, "Don't look at me, Mr. Xia knows all the people I know. Mr. Xia has nothing to do, so I can. There is no way." "Slippery," Mr. Xia scolded. "By the way, Mr. Xia, you can either ask Mr. Tan to help. Mr. Tan has many people. At worst, we can hire a few buses to come here." Jin Lily said that. Mr. Xia's eyes lit up. Yes, there were so many construction sites under Lao Tan. She told him the difficulties directly. At worst, he would ask him to arrange for 2 or 3 construction sites to stop work for a day and arrange for people to come over to fill the scene. What's happening here now is also his business. Okay, leave this matter to Lao Tan, he has someone, Mr. Xia shouted. During dinner, the two groups met at the seaside restaurant of Jinling Resort. Jinling Resort is also in Daedanghai. It was the first to be built in Daedanghai and was one of the most upscale hotels at the time. In the afternoon, Mr. Xia stood at the door of his hotel and faced right. "Point your finger at Jinling Resort." The scene at Jinling Resort was indeed miserable at that time. During dinner time, there were only 4 or 5 tables of guests in the restaurant. Although the business of several big hotels in Haikan was not as good as before, at this time, it was still full. Some of them still needed queuing up. I didn't expect Sanya to be in such a depressed state. They are all old friends and customers. Mr. Xia has nothing to hide. He told Mr. Tan about his difficulties and asked Mr. Tan to send hundreds of people from Haikan to come on that day. "I will arrange the bus." "Just this little thing?" Mr. Tan asked. "It's such a small thing, my humming scalp is almost scratched," Mr. Xia cursed. "Haha, then your Lao Xia's scalp is so worthless," Mr. Tan said with a smile. "Why don't you just have 100 or 200 people as extras? How about I arrange 300 for you and get some people on the beach?" "That's great," Mr. Xia shouted. "Xiaojin, hurry up and secure the bus tomorrow morning, and then go to Mr. Tan's place to pick up people." Jin Lily said, "Yes, there is no joke in the army. When the number of people is not enough, then I don't care, I will recruit Tan Zone to fill up the number." Mr. Tan laughed and waved his hands. "Don't make arrangements. If there are 300 people, Go to Hiken to make arrangements. We will solve it on the spot. Solve it on the spot. Mr. Xia and Jin Lily were stunned and looked at Mr. Tan. What kind of solution is this to solve on the spot? Mr. Tan asked Mr. Xia, Lao Xia, have you forgotten where you came from? When Mr. Xia heard this, he slammed the table and shouted, oh, Lao Tan, why did I forget this? Jin Lily and Lao Bao looked at the two of them. Mr. Xia said to them, you have forgotten that Lao Tan came from the Yulin base. He used his connections to go to the base to find hundreds of soldiers who were off that day to come and help. Not simple. Jin Lily and Lao Bao suddenly realized. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 149. Mr. Tan stood up and told Mr. Xia that I would go out and make a phone call. He picked up the big brother on the table and walked out. 10 minutes later, when he came back, Mr. Xia quickly asked, how's it going? Mr. Tan ignored him and asked Jin Lily, Xiao Jin, where are you from in Zhejiang? Jin Lily said, Yongcheng. Haha, I saw Xiao Zhang's ID card, and I remembered that you are from Yongcheng. It's true. What a humming coincidence, Mr. Tan said with a smile. Hey, don't be pretentious. Is the matter done? Mr. Xia asked impatiently. Mr. Tan still ignored him, but turned around and said to the waiter, waiter, help me get the paper and pen. Jin Lily said, I have it here. She took out a pen and paper from her bag and handed it to Mr. Tan. Mr. Tan looked at Mr. Xia, and Mr. Xia looked at him, blowing his beard and staring. Mr. Tan smiled slightly. He wrote a name and a phone number on the paper, then returned the pen and paper to Jin Lily, and said to her. This Director Lu is the director of the political department of the base division. He is a fellow of yours and he is also from Yongcheng. Really, such a coincidence, Jin Lily shouted. Mr. Tan said, it's really such a coincidence. I told him that you should call him tomorrow. Mr. Tan then turned to Mr. Xia and said to him, okay, now I will report the work to you. Things have been implemented. Director Lu said, what is the difficulty? They cooperated with others to make movies, and more than 1,000 people were dispatched. However, when you are an extra, you have a foundation. Great, Mr. Xia shouted. There is another good news. Mr. Tan smiled. Any other good news? Mr. Xia asked. Do you still remember the car smuggling incident? Mr. Tan asked. This, I remember, it was reported in the news at the time, but what does it have to do with us? Mr. Xia asked in confusion. Don't you still need cars as props? A batch of cars seized at that time are still at the base, Mr. Tan said. Mr. Xia and the three of them understood, and their faces were happy. This is really a good thing. No effort required. How to arrange the specific arrangements? Xiao Jin, you can just contact your fellow villagers tomorrow, Mr. Tan said, and Jin Lily quickly agreed. The next morning, Mr. Tan took the film and returned to Hiken. Over there, Jin Lily also contacted Director Lu, and Mr. Xia and the others made a special trip to the Yulin base. It was almost 5 o'clock, and Mr. Tan had just arrived in Ding'an. He quickly called Zhang Chen in the car and asked him to wait in the office. He had already arrived in Ding'an. Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Xiao Wu were in the office. It was after 6 o'clock before Mr. Tan arrived. Lu Ligan had met Mr. Tan before, and Zhang Chen introduced Xiao Wu and Mr. Tan. Mr. Tan gave Zhang Chen the floor plan, construction drawings, and a bag of hundreds of photos of the hotel, and asked him if they were enough. Zhang Chen looked at the photos and quickly said that was enough. It was very detailed. Mr. Tan insisted on inviting them to dinner. The three of them couldn't refuse, so they went to the nearby Aer Liangtang. After eating, Mr. Tan said goodbye to them. Lu Ligan and Xiao Wu said they were going to Tailong City. Zhang Chen and they said, I can't go with you, I want to go back and study. Zhang Chen figured that after all, this was to help an outside unit. He couldn't draw well in the Wang Heilu office during the day, so he decided to use his evening time every day to go home and paint. In this way, he was using his spare time. He was not afraid that Mr. Fu would tell him if he found out. He thought that even if he told Mr. Fu the true situation, Mr. Fu would understand and not object. After all, he still owed Mr. Tan a favor. Zhang Chen did this because he had a stronghold in his heart. He felt that some things were insurmountable and must be made clear and clear. Zhang Chen brought all the materials brought back by Mr. Tan to Wenmingdong's office. The light in the office was better than in his room. He decided to paint in the office. He took the easel, paints, pens, etc. from the room. Come here, set up the easel in the office, clamp the lead drawing paper on the drawing board with a big clamp, and start working. Based on the photos, Zhang Chen first sketched the outline of the Bayview Hotel with a pencil. Before he had a clear design idea in his mind, he first drew the surrounding environment. In front of him were the white sandy beaches and blue waters of the Dadonghai Sea. Behind is the road and a lush tropical forest. Gu Shufang came down from upstairs, holding a book in her hand. Zhang Chen saw her coming in and smiled at her. Hello. Thank you, Accountant Gu. Gu Shufang nodded slightly and walked over. She sat down at her desk and looked at the painting Zhang Chen was drawing. Zhang Chen was standing there painting with his back to her, and the painting on the drawing board, but facing her. Gu Shufang read for a while, then looked up at the painting on the easel. She finally confirmed that this painting had nothing to do with Wanghai Tower. Gu Shufang thought for a while, put down the story of the Sahara in her hand, and couldn't help but ask Zhang Chen's back, are you making extra money? Zhang Chen shook his head. Isn't the money given to you enough here? Zhang Chen didn't look back and continued to shake his head. I painted for others, voluntary labor. Gu Shufang snorted, so good. Who believes it? With this snort, the smoke between the two people started again. Zhang Chen felt angry, but after all, he just drank the ginseng and pigeon soup last night, so it was inconvenient to get angry. Zhang Chen could only say coldly, and believe it or not, it's my spare time now, so it's normal to make extra money. Besides, are there times when people are afraid of having too much money? This last sentence made Gu Shufang feel a little bored. It means, do you think you are noble just because you look at San Mao every day? Don't you also have an eye for money? Gu Shufang was stunned for a moment. It should be said that when she came down just now, she had no intention of coming to fight with Zhang Chen. She saw Zhang Chen coming back, so she originally wanted to come down and tell Zhang Chen that the painting you did this morning was really good. It was very good, very similar to the scenery I saw at my grandma's house when I was a child, but as soon as I entered the door and saw Zhang Chen, I couldn't help but become stiff. Gu Shufang didn't understand herself anymore. She thought for a while and then said bravely, I was just asking casually. This seemed to ease the situation again. When Zhang Chen heard what she said, he calmed down and decided to say a few more words to her. This is a hotel in Sanya. The boss of my former company took over the project. Mr. Fu also knew him. He was very good to me. When I went to Hainan and couldn't find a job anywhere, he took me in, so I agreed. If he needs my help in the future, I will help him. Gu Shufang said oh. It seemed that she was also satisfied with Zhang Chen's explanation and encouraged him to continue talking. Zhang Chen said while painting, I think, over there at Wanghai Tower, I can't draw well at work, so I thought of taking it home to draw. Accountant Gu, do you mind? Gu Shufang watched Zhang Chen draw. She felt that watching people draw was an interesting thing. Gu Shufang paused for a while and replied softly, I don't mind. Thank you, I hope you don't mind, Zhang Chen said with a smile. If you do, I'll go back to the room and paint. Gu Shufang remained silent. Zhang Chen seemed to have nothing to say, and he seemed to be telling Gu Shufang on purpose, meaning that he understood it. I don't want to be obsessed with this project of yours, he said. Partia originally approached me for this project and wanted me to do it. I couldn't get away from here, so I didn't agree and asked them to find my former boss to do it. I am a very nice boss. Zhang Chen said this, intentionally or unintentionally, without telling Gu Shufang that this is the hotel of my girlfriend's company. He vaguely felt that as long as he mentioned Jin Lily, he might anger Gu Shufang. Zhang Chen felt funny in his heart. This like why can't a San Mao woman live in peace with another person who likes San Mao? From Jin Lily's side as well, whenever she mentions Gu Shufang, she will definitely get furious. I didn't expect you to be very upright, Gu Shufang said sarcastically. Zhang Chen just got a little angry when he heard Gu Shufang say, the sea is well painted, I like it. Zhang Chen was dumbfounded. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 150. When Zhang Chen arrived at the construction site the next day, Xiao Wu had already arrived. Zhang Chen asked him why it was so early. Xiao Wu said, yesterday in Tailong City, I bought a sandbag and brought it over in the morning. I built a training ground in the work shed. Zhang Chen was very interested after hearing this, and he and Xiao Wu went over to take a look. Between the two original work sheds, a ceiling was built horizontally, about 20 square meters. Under the ceiling, a sandbag for boxing was hung. When they walked over, they met two young migrant workers on the road. They both called Master Xiao Wu. Zhang Chen looked at Xiao Wu strangely. Xiao Wu and Zhang Chen said, these two are my apprentices. There are already more than a dozen people on the construction site who want to learn boxing from me. Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh and thought, Xiao Wu is still great. He has been on the island for half a month and still can't figure it out. He has only been here a few days and he actually has his own team. What, are you planning to capture Heiken? Zhang Chen said with a smile. Xiao Wu nodded and said, if I don't look for them, they will come looking for me sooner or later. Zhang Chen didn't know who Xiao Wu was talking about, but he thought that this Heiken, like all other cities, has its own underground network. Ordinary people may never come into contact with them in their lifetime. Once they come into contact, it may be unlucky, but like Xiao Wu, he can smell where they are by smell. If you need anything else, you can buy it and the company will reimburse you. There are so many workers. It's good for them to practice boxing with you when they have nothing to do. They don't have to go out and cause trouble, Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu said. Really? Xiao Wu asked excitedly. Zhang Chen said seriously, this place can be expanded and the ground can be improved. They returned to the office and sat down. Xiao Wu gave Zhang Chen the samples and quotations of the materials he had seen at the market yesterday. Zhang Chen selected a few urgently needed items and told Xiao Wu that these needed to be purchased first. Ask the captain of the masonry team about the quantity. I think the price is okay. If you can repay it, just pay it back. If you can't, forget it and place an order. Xiao Wu said yes. He took the motorcycle key, but hesitated and was not in a hurry to leave. Zhang Chen asked, is there anything else to say? Xiao Wu scratched his head and said, it's brother Zanzi. He went to that place again yesterday. Looking for second-rate goods again. No, he went alone. It was right next to Tailong City. When we were passing by, he saw it and he asked me to go in with him. If I didn't go, he went in by himself. Damn it, this bastard, he's really addicted, Zhang Chen cursed. In the past, Brother Ganza was said to be like a flower ghost, but in fact he was not a flower ghost at all, Xiao Wu said. Now, I think he is really a flower ghost. In the middle of the night yesterday, he ran into the two girls next door. I went there, and it seemed that I was still sleeping there and didn't come back until the morning. Ah, Zhang Chen was startled. Aren't Wenwen and Qian two people? I don't know either, but he seems to be related to both of them. You don't know about Brother Zanza's mouth. He wants to deceive people. Those two little girls are nothing. Zhang Chen thought for a while, sighed, and said. In the past, when Tan Shuhen was here, Tan Shuhen locked him up with an open lock. When we first came, although Tan Shuhen was not here, she was still in his heart, just like a hidden lock, still locking him. Now, there is no such thing in his heart. Tan Shuhen, or in other words, there is still Tan Shuhen, but he knows that Tan Shuhen doesn't like him, so he deliberately does the opposite. That's what I think. There were several times when I wondered if this bastard was acting for me on purpose. Xiao Wu said. In this way, when I contact Xiao Jin and the others, when I talk about him, they will tell me Sister Shuhen, Brother Chen, do you think he really wants Sister Shuhen to see him like this? Zhang Chen said it was very possible. Zhang Chen remembered something and asked, are you still in contact with Xiao Jin and the others? How is the person you beat? He was seriously injured and is still in the hospital. It is said that my family goes to the police station every day to make trouble and no one pays for the medical expenses. I ask Xiao Jin to warn them that they should not dare to go again. You'd better be careful and don't let the old school know you're here, Zhang Chen reminded Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu smiled and said, I know, we use public phones every day, both here and Xiao Jin's. Are they all using public phones? How the hell do you get in touch? Seeing the confusion on Zhang Chen's face, Xiao Wu told him that this was what we had agreed on before. There were only 11 public phones in Yongcheng. We all remembered these 11 numbers clearly and even made them up. Number. Every Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they would wait at 3 public phones. I would dial number 1 first and it got through. Then I would start from number 2 next time. If no one answered, or if someone answered, but he gave me the password, that meant the old guard was on his side, so I hung up immediately and dialed the second number. If no one answers the 3 numbers, or gives a secret code, it means something happened to them and don't contact them again. Zhang Chen was very surprised. He didn't expect that they had developed such a complicated set of procedures. Can you tell me what your password is? Zhang Chen said with a smile. Xiao Wu also laughed. He said it was very simple, we usually scold your mother. If someone scolds your mother, it means that he is being controlled by someone, whether it is the old school or someone else, and we will take action. It's amazing, your mother. No one would know that this code could be a code, Zhang Chen shouted. Xiao Wu chuckled. After Xiao Wu left, Zhang Chen sat there and thought for a while about Xiao Wu and the others' secret codes, then laughed, oh my god, they are really specialized in the art. It seems that Xiao Wu and the others have put their intelligence and talents into use. It's up here, your mother. Zhang Chen laughed loudly. He thought about what Xiao Wu told him about Lu Ligan again, and couldn't help laughing. He thought that this guy had really changed, but you couldn't say whether he was good or bad. He was single now. Can't you also tease the little girl next door? Your mother, that's too serious. In the evening, Lu Ligan came over. Zhang Chen looked at him as if nothing happened. Zhang Chen couldn't say what Xiao said to him, so he didn't ask anything. The 3 of them went to the Pig's Trotter restaurant for dinner. Zhang Chen wanted to go back to catch up on the manuscript. Lu Ligan said he would take Xiao Wu to watch a movie. Xiao Wu said no, I have to go back to the construction site for training. They are waiting for me. Either you come to training with me too, Xiao Wu and Lu Ligan said. What's the use of practicing? Lu Ligan asked. In the future, if you seduce other people's wives, you can defend yourself when they are beaten, Xiao Wu said. No, if you don't waste your stupid energy, you should be beaten. Let him finish it, Lu Ligan said. Lu Ligan and Xiao Wu said, you go and train, and I'll walk around Wuzishan Road. I'll find you when I'm done. What do you want to do? Zhang Chen asked curiously. Lu Ligan glanced at Zhang Chen and said nonchalantly, actually, if you choose carefully, you will find good products on Wuzishan Road. Damn you, you're worse than a second-rate person now, Zhang Chen scolded, a second-rate person doesn't know how to touch Wuzishan Road. Hey, women, there are so many differences, damn, Wenwen and Qian, they look pretty good. Zhang Chen didn't ask anything, but Lu Ligan told him everything. Zhang Chen sighed secretly, said nothing, and the three of them said goodbye on Boa South Road. Your mother, you are really philanthropic now, Zhang Chen cursed in his mind as he walked. Zhang Chen returned home, took a shower, went to the office, and started drawing. After a while, Gu Shufang came down. Zhang Chen nodded with her, and for the first time, Gu Shufang actually smiled at him. This time, Zhang Chen found that there was no book in her hand. Gu Shufang walked to her desk, touched the tabletop with her hand, then touched the stool, and then turned the stool in a direction, facing Zhang Chen's easel. Zhang Chen looked at her strangely, Gu Shufang a little panicked, but calmed down immediately. She said, I'm here to see you paint, do you mind? Zhang Chen smiled, of course I don't mind. It's okay if you don't mind, Gu Shufang laughed as she said that. Zhang Chen found that she actually looked pretty when she smiled, and her whole person seemed to brighten up.